Welcome to my show, SAM Dialogues with Dr. MP Reddy, sponsored by South Asia Monitor. We are launching this show with Dr. Anil Rajvanshi, Padma Shri Awardee, one of India's highest civilian awards. We are very fortunate and honored to have the debut of this show with Dr. Rajvanshi. Since this is my first show of this new series that I am starting, let me introduce myself briefly. I am Meda Parameswara Reddy. People call me MP Reddy. After obtaining my PhD from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, I did fellowship in Johns Hopkins University in USA. I later joined medical diagnostics industry. There, my inventions resulted in 30 US patents. I finally retired as a director of research and development. Recently, I have become very passionate about writing and publishing articles. I published more than 30 articles, many of them in South Asia Monitor. I am currently serving on their editorial board. Now, coming to our guest, Dr. Anil Rajvanshi. Dr. Rajvanshi is currently the director of the NIMCAR Agricultural Research Institute. As I mentioned earlier, he is a recipient of the prestigious Padma Shri Award as well as many other awards for his pioneering contributions to rural development, renewable energy, and rather unique integration of science and spirituality. Dr. Rajvanshi, welcome to my show, SAM Dialogues with Dr. MP Reddy. Welcome you,
Thank you
sir.
very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, good. My very first question for you today is you received engineering degree from IIT Kanpur and then you went on to USA to pursue your PhD there. After that, you taught for a couple of years there and then you made an extraordinary decision to return back to India, which is very uncommon. There is a kind of, I would say, reverse brain drain moving from USA back to India, particularly to serve rural India. Please tell me what kind of thought process went through your mind back in 1981 to make that unusual but incredible decision.
Well, the only thing I can think of, and I have thought a lot about it, and I've given a lot of lectures all over the world, is just madness and arrogance. If I had an iota of intelligence, like all of you, millions of Indians who went to America who never came back, I would have also not come back. The madness was there that with my work that I did under a very great pioneer in solar energy in University of Florida, I will come and help India, and the arrogance that I will change India. Now, what a stupid idea that was, because great people, this India is a very ancient civilization, and great people have never been able to change it. And who was I, a small fry, to think about that? But that arrogance is what made me come back. And India, an ancient civilization, could not be changed, but it changed me. And that was, to my mind, the best thing that happened to me. It detoxified Anil Rajvanshi. It brought him down. It showed me that by living and working in rural India, the situation is very difficult. The things are very difficult to change. But it taught me humility, simplicity, and brought back the spiritual traditions of the great country. So this was my story. And naturally, my father had gone to jail with Gandhiji. I'm sure it had a tremendous impact on me, because somehow I was attached to the story of India. And I felt that if by whatever little bit I can help the country, I had no great desire to, change anything. I just wanted to do something meaningful in my life. And I thought, why not start? Naturally, I was inspired by Gandhiji's example of coming to rural India and going around and seeing how to change it. So that was probably the reason why I came. Now, once having come there, I tried to look at the problems. And as an engineer, I said, this is a challenge. And can I do something to solve that challenge? And so that is how I started my journey in 1981. The situation was very tough. Fulton was a place where to make a phone call, long distance phone call. A lot
Yes,
of times I would hop on the bus, go to Pune, which is a 4 hour journey, and
yes,
make phone call. So it
yeah.
was not very easy.
I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. I can relate to that easily.
Uh,
Yes, that's right.
so,
We are
so that was
approximately of similar generation, similar age, so I know exactly what you are talking about.
the main thing. But the janoon means passion, was such that it took away all the pinpricks because the desire was to solve the problem. The
Yes,
desire was not, but you see, if I would have been an intelligent IITian, I would have thought three times where my career is going.
yes.
Career never came into the picture because the only thing that mattered was how to solve the problem that I see in front of me. And once
Very,
that junoon and that passion comes, then everything else becomes secondary. And that is exactly what yoga is.
oh,
When
okay.
you
Oh, okay.
when
One,
when you focus on something very deeply, then everything vanishes.
okay. We are going to come back to that in a little later segment. Okay. Please bear with me. Yeah, I know we are going to talk about spirituality and all again. Okay. And let me move on to your substantial and pioneering work you did. That was the development of electric rickshaws, and you thought about that all the way back in 1990s. Okay, now there are, my understanding is, about 2.5 million e-rickshaws navigating Indian roads, and the government of India is actively pursuing to reduce severe urban pollution in India. How did you come up with that incredible idea way back around 1990s? And then what did you do, how did you do to manage to implement it, take the idea all the way to implementation, which is not an easy thing at all?
Uh, you see, as an engineer, the most important thing that I have always felt is that we engineers are supposed to solve problems.
Yes,
I come from Lucknow, and when I was young, the only mode of transport in Lucknow was rickshaw.
yes,
And I used to ride the rickshaw quite often.
yes,
And anytime there was a slope, I was very pained to see this rickshaw puller get down from the rickshaw
yes.
and just get on his foot and push me. And a lot of times I would get down and also push the rickshaw. And I felt what a inhuman thing was
Yes,
that another human being is carrying your weight on his shoulders, so-called shoulders. So that thought was always there. When I went to IIT Kanpur, it was very strange that the Americans, IIT Kanpur was funded by America, as
yes.
you know, and all the American professors and other people, and they never told us to redesign the rickshaw
Oh,
because we were told to redesign to work on the design of the Apollo aircraft
yes,
of a craft sending to the moon, and
that's right.
we are so away from the reality. So that thought always remained. And when I came back and I said, as an engineer, because I had already was looking at so many other things in renewable energy, what can I do
Yes.
to improve this rickshaw? So the first thing that I did was to interview maybe thousands of rickshaw pullers
Wow, wow.
in Lucknow, in Allahabad, in Hyderabad, in so many places where rickshaws were being pulled, and I wanted to get an idea on what uh, is required, what are their problems, and I don't think anybody had done this study. In fact, this became a pioneering study on the whole issue of rickshaw pullers.
Okay.
And in 1996, I published that study, and
Yes,
it has been quoted all over the world. And then said, I asked them. They always told me that if the rickshaw could be motorized,
yes,
then it can help.
yes,
Naturally, in those times, the motor available was a small IC engine,
yes,
and it produced a lot of noise and etc. So I said, can we do something with electric motor? And
yes,
in 1990, I had gone to United States, to present a paper in IEEE conference,
Oh,
and there
okay.
I met a very famous person. Uh, I forget his name. He was in Boeing, and he was a very distinguished professor. And he says, "I'm working on electric motors for electric cycles." So I
Okay.
suddenly felt that maybe we can use that,
Yes.
and that is how my journey started. So in 1999, I presented my work on what we had done a little bit at IIT Kanpur, and I sent this paper to my friend in MIT, who was David Wilson, the father of bicycle. He has written a classic book on the science of cycle, and he liked it so much, so he put it on his journal as a cover story,
Wow.
and then the whole thing started. So Chinese
Wonderful.
took it up, and I think the whole world took it up because that article contained the genesis of what can be done to improve the rickshaw, how it can be electrified, and what are the things, and that is how the journey started.
That shows your extreme compassion towards ordinary, hardworking, poor people, and also your ingenuity in terms of problem solving, coming up with ideas, pursuing, perseverance. There are so many qualities you needed and demonstrated to take it all the way from idea to practice. It is a great story. And
In
let me,
1997, we got the first patent on electric rickshaw anywhere
oh,
in the world. Yes,
oh, that is great. I understand how difficult it is to get patents. Okay. Thank you very much. And now let me get into another area. Okay. Where you did pioneering.
and Dr. Adi, just a minute, and
Please.
the same focus,
Yes.
because you see, the I'm a mechanical engineer,
Yes.
and I believe that engineering is the training of the mind.
Yes.
And once you are a PhD, you should be able to tackle any problem in the world.
That is
So
true.
and that is how my life has been. So I did not know anything about electrical engineering, but
Yes.
I mastered as much as possible the whole knowledge of electric motors,
You
the
know one
battery.
thing? You know one
Ah,
thing I always tell people PhD means Doctor of Philosophy,
yes.
not Doctor of Mechanical Engineering or Electrical Engineering or Biology, right?
So then I found out there were so many problems in the electric motors. There's so many problems in everything because there were this electric rickshaw required electric motor, batteries, and the controller. And so all these things I got it developed in Pune because
Okay.
I believed that we should have the complete Indian product. And this is in 1997.
Yes.
And today there are all these rickshaws, and most of the things are imported from China, and which I feel very bad because we as a country can do a lot of these things in house.
No, whatever you described, that is real definition, almost a textbook definition of entrepreneurship. You did whatever you needed in terms of learning and interacting with people to find out their requirements and come up
Social
with
entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship.
that is a better way of description. That is, yeah.
The lot of people told me that I was probably the first social entrepreneur in India.
I completely agree with whoever told you that. Okay, I second whatever they say clearly. I am
Okay.
glad I am able to talk to you, and you are sharing that with South Asia Monitor audience about that. And since we are little limited time, okay, I'm sorry. Let us move on to another very important area you pioneered, that is water purification for rural households. There, you published many papers in that area, and your technology, I understand, is very simple, relatively. That is what is important to make it practical. It involves, it looks like simple filtration, rainwater harvesting, and low cost solar water purifiers. Please tell us briefly about that and where it stands right now.
When I came in 1981, the quality of water, drinking water, was very poor in our institute. And I said, what can we do with solar energy? Because solar energy is plenty.
Yes.
And so I started looking at heating the water and seeing if it can kill the E. coli.
Oh, yeah.
and we had a chemistry lab, and we tested, and we found that just by heating the water at 60 degrees Celsius, because most of the times the solar collectors in those times in 80s were
Yes.
simple collectors, and they
Yes.
would not reach very high temperature, and we
Correct.
found that it was not possible to kill all the E. coli. Then
Yes.
suddenly an idea came that if I filter that water, that with a eight layer of different layers of sari cloth,
Okay.
simple cotton cloth, cotton saris
Very
that
simple.
women in rural
Yes.
areas wear, then
Yes.
what will happen? So we did a lot of very interesting experiments on filtering that water through different layers of cloth, and we
Okay.
found that eight-layer cloth, which brought the filter level to 200 microns, would
Wow.
uh, would remove most of the bacterial content, and
Yes.
then heating it to
Yes.
60 degrees or even to 45 degrees Celsius, which you could get
Okay.
in on the cloudy day for
Naturally. Yeah.
for 3 4 hours, you could finish all the E. coli.
Wow.
And
Such a
that to my mind was a very pioneering idea, which
such
nobody
a
had done that.
such a low tech with very little investment, almost no
Yes.
investment. Yeah. Oh,
And
wow.
so we did many years of experiment on different collector design, different configuration, etc. And then we developed the design that is exists today, is these tubular collectors. The stagnation temperatures reach very high. On a slightly rainy day, you still can get 45 degrees Celsius for 3 hours, which is enough to kill all the E. coli and the
Yes.
filter after filter water. And then we said, if I take the groundwater, there are a lot of salts.
Yes.
Rainwater is a God's given opportunity, and we never collect it. So we developed the whole technology of collecting rainwater and then purifying it through this process.
Wow.
And now there are three schools, very in a Phaltan area, rural schools, where the children never got good water. So around 600 to 700 students every day get this absolutely clean water through this
Yes.
technology.
Are they still using it today?
Yes. And it is spreading because more and more schools are coming. And the most interesting thing is that we designed it in such a manner that the children will themselves learn about the solar energy, about the mechanical engineering, about the water testing. So not only are they getting clean water, but they
Yes.
are also learning about STEM. Now,
Wow.
when children get clean water,
Yes.
it changes their whole life, because water is the most important thing by which their stomach becomes
Yes.
all right. When the stomach becomes all right, the brain works, because that is the most critical time for the children's life, for the person's life.
Yes.
During the this time, if their brain is working nicely, then
Yes.
they will flower.
During the
So idea is
particularly the developmental phase of their life.
exactly, exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
Oh,
So this is what we
very
have done.
good. That is really incredible. Okay. Again, your entrepreneurship, creativity, going beyond your mechanical engineering, no boundaries, right? As you said, PhD is not about trained in the focused area, right? It's a kind of general training. You can enter into any area and solve problems, right? That's what you said. You are a problem solver, basically. Now let us shift gears to a completely different area. It looks like your favorite topic, that is spiritual engineering, okay, spirituality. You called yourself a spiritual engineer, okay? And then in 2002, you came up with a very intriguing concept. I would say, as a chemist with my background, I call it an equation, that is spirituality plus technology equals sustainability and happiness. Please tell me about that, how you think that is going to be useful to the world. And yeah, I would let you express your
And
thought.
you see, through my life, whatever I have written are all the experiences of my life. I don't write about what I read, etc. And I found out that when you think very deeply, and which is basically like yoga, on anything, then you start looking at things from a very different perspective, and efficiency comes as the most important output,
Yes,
because ultimately the whole world runs on energy.
yes,
And if you think very deeply, then you would like to see how you can utilize that energy very efficiently.
yes,
And when you start thinking about that, then it also comes to your own example and your own life.
Yes.
And I felt that if I can do this through this, and that is why I call it spirituality, because spirituality means thinking very deeply about anything. Spirituality is nothing to do with numbo jumbo or all these gurus teach about. Spirituality is nothing else but going deeper into inside yourself and also looking at any problem very deeply. And that is why I think that all great scientists were spiritual in nature.
Yes.
So when you do that, then you realize that when with spirituality, it reduces your greed for resources and materials. And when you use the high technology, then you do everything very efficiently. And
Yes.
that is leads to sustainability and happiness. Because when you are sustainable, and I have lived my life for the last 40-45 years in a very sustainable manner, and it is written up in I have a lot of articles on that, how I live, and rainwater harvesting and all these things. And it is not a harsh life. I don't think Americans can live like that, because they are very, very consumer of energy and a lot of greed. So in fact, for all of you Indians also who live in America, this is something, a challenge. And see how you can put that dharma in your own life. And so the main thing is how can we live efficiently and not living in a poverty or anything, but living in a very meaningful life. And that is what I have done. And I think this should be the paradigm of development, not only for India but for the rest of the world. And
Yes.
I just came back from United States, and I was a keynote speaker in Houston, and this was the theme of my talk. My keynote was on this, that reduce your greed and practice spirituality. And so spirituality plus technology will lead to happiness and sustainability.
Dr. Rajvanshi, that is a nice segue into my next question. Okay, you have written a wonderful book that is entitled Deep Science in Ancient Indian Philosophical Thought. Okay, so you already started talking about that, so you may as well talk.
Yeah, so this is my eighth book.
Yeah, oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, so, and I have always, I'm a very biased Indian. I think some of the greatest philosophical thought of the world has come from India.
okay,
India, throughout the history of mankind, has given Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, so many other things, and the most important thing, yoga, from which all these things came.
yes,
And when I started looking from my scientific point of view, all these ancient books, I realized that these are great gems of science and technology, and it has never been looked from that point of view. It
yes,
is always through the other things, and because the people who were interpreting it were not scientists. So when I started looking it from the science, I realized that how great science is was embedded into it. And for example, in this Patanjali Yoga, and so I wrote this book talking about how scientific book is Patanjali Lok, and how much it really tallies with the modern science of Einstein's gravitation theory and so many other things. And
yes,
it is just you have to read between the lines.
yes.
And it is not that we are downplaying the modern science and technology,
No, you are
or
not.
raising our old scriptures. It's just that I want to show that how everything comes from the same knowledge space,
Yes,
whether it was Einstein's theories or Newton's theories
yes.
or Patanjali's theories, they all came from the same source, and which is the infinite.
So there is a lot of commonality among all of them.
Yes,
There is a
yes, yes,
common thread among all of them.
yes, 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 yes.
Okay. So now let me come to the most important question I have, at least for my curiosity point of view. You got Padma Shri Award and many more prestigious award, and you received them from President of India and two Prime Ministers of India. How did you take that? When you heard that news?
These are regular awards.
Okay,
These are physical processes. When you live for a long time, you keep on getting awards. There's nothing great about it.
okay,
My greatest award is, if I when I understand the mind of God,
okay.
then that is my greatest award.
Wow.
These are all awards which makes me happy, in the sense that yes, my ideas are now being recognized, and I use these awards simply as a spreading of ideas. Nothing,
Okay.
no, no, no. But it really, to tell you frankly,
Okay.
these are there's no monetary thing attached to these awards, and so there is nothing to it except that
So,
you get, you just feel, and people respect you for that. That's
yeah.
all.
So it seems like you take them in a humble way rather than feeling extremely proud or something.
These are all regular things. That's all.
Oh my God, you are a humble man. I'm very impressed
No,
with
no,
you,
no,
Dr.
no, no.
Rajvanshi. Okay, that is really good. Okay, now coming to the final segment. Okay, as I said, we need to have several interviews with you. Okay, see, because of the limited time we have, because nowadays people have very limited attention time span, right?
Hmm.
Attention span. So please tell, are there anything you want to tell to South Asia Monitor viewers, particularly young generations? Any wise thoughts you have or suggestions you have for them?
Well, the most important thing for youngsters is to focus.
Yes.
When you make your mind very powerful, then you can
Yes.
focus on anything, and you'll create wonderful solutions. Today the attention deficit syndrome is so much,
Yes.
and so my only, and this is what the my talk I give to all IITs and all the students, that please focus, because at when you are young, you have a tremendous, very powerful brain, and if you can make that brain focus on things, concentrate on things which can help, like by reading and not spending time on your mobile, then you will become a great human being. And what you do with your life will come from that simple thing, because when you become a very focused human being with a powerful brain, then wherever you want to apply that brain, you'll do wonderful things. So my advice to youngsters and to everybody else is to become a very focused human being. And the final thoughts to South Asia Monitor, you know, our country is really great, and the ancient spiritual thought and traditions we should follow, and we should try to understand it. When we understand it, the most important thing that comes is we don't want to control. We reduce our control freak nature, and when we reduce our control freak nature, we all work together for the common good. And that is the most important thing that we Indians can teach, not only to ourselves, but to the whole Southeast Asia.
Good. That is a great advice. Dr. Rajvanshi, thank you very much for kindly accepting our invitation and coming on to my show. But as I said, we are launching this show. This is the first show for me, for a series of shows I am hoping for. And I'm so fortunate to have you in my debut show. And please come back to us. Now I know you better. It seems like we can discuss about several topics you brought up in greater detail that will be of interest to South Asia Monitor audience. Okay. Now,
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah, thank.
Huh,
And now
huh.
let me address directly South Asia Monitor viewers. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming onto this, for listening to the whole show here. I hope you enjoyed it, and probably you will find it useful, and you can stay tuned for more shows that are going to come in the future. Look forward to have more shows with you. And Dr. Rajvanshi, you were going to say one thing. Please go ahead and finish that thought.
No, this is what I wanted to say, that I'm happy that you invited me for this, and maybe there could be many more occasions to present a lot of other things.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much for coming
Thank
to
you.
the show. Oh, and
Thank
also
you.
I want to thank South Asia Monitor Management for giving me this opportunity. I learned a lot from you, Dr. Rajvanshi, and I hope that the viewers that are watching this show, they are also getting benefited. Oh, and one request I want to make to the viewers is please go to South Asia Monitor website and give your feedback and comments. I want to know what you are thinking and also tell what kind of shows you want from me. So I want it to be a very interactive and iterative process. I want to enjoy the new guests we are going to bring onto the show, and also I want South Asia Monitor audience or viewers to get benefited from that. Again, thank you, Dr. Anil Rajvanshi.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
bye then.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.